Alright, hey guys, so today we're going to be going over what is a function. So a function is a basic tool that's used in mathematics to take values and transform them into other values. So you can visualize it quite easily if you look at like taking an input, putting it into some function. So this is just some function, and then looking at the output, which would be different normally from the input. So the key part about functions is not what you put in or what you get out, but it's about what happens inside this function. So this function part is the part that transforms the input to create the output. So functions are generally denoted by f of x is equal to whatever the function is. So this f here is just the name of the function. It could be f, g, h, anything you want really. So that's just the name. This x here is the thing that you put in. So this x corresponds to this input. And then these dots here, just whatever the function is, these correspond to the function here. And the output, that's dependent on the input and the function. So it's easiest to go through some examples to sort of see this. So if we take a function, f of x is equal to x squared. So we can see that for every x that we put in, that's the input that we put in, then transform it through the function here, we'll get our output. So for every x value we put in, the output will be that value squared. So we'll just do basic table. So if we start with x and f of x, so if we just choose x values and then look at the f of x value that it corresponds to. So for example 0, f of 0, that's how you denote that taking the x value of 0 is equal to 0 squared, which is also equal to 0. We take 1, f of 1 is equal to 1 squared, which equals 1. We can also take negatives, negative 1, negative 1 squared, but because the negative is being squared, it's negative 1 times negative 1, just goes to 1. So we can take other values as well, for example 2. So what this table corresponds to is these values here are the results of the transformations that take place because of this function. So for every x value that we put in, we get the corresponding x squared value, and that's basically what the function does. It transforms these x values here into the f of x values, or the values, or the outputs rather. So we can do another example. F of x equal to x minus 1 squared divided by 2. So this one's a bit more complicated, but you still just use the same process. You put your x, your f of x, just draw a little table, and then we try different x and f of x values. So if we try x is 0, we go f of 0 is equal to 0 minus 1 squared divided by 2. So 0 minus 1 is negative 1, square that is 1, divided by 2, so that's equal to 1/2. If we take 1, this one's a bit easier. 1 minus 1 is 0, that's 0 squared is just 0, 0 divided by 2, it's also just 0. We can take 2, so f of 2 is equal to 2 minus 1, which is 1, squared, still 1. 2 minus 1, 1 squared, it's just 1, divided by 2, so it's again 1/2. And you can repeat that for as many different x values as you want, until you get like a general idea of what the thing's going to look like. And yeah, so that's just a basic overview of what functions are. They take some input, transform it through a function to get an output. So for example, the f of x equals x squared. The f is just the name, the x is the input, so we put 0, 1, -1 and 2. And then the x squared is the output, and it's the function which gives us the output. So 0 squared was 0, 1 squared was 1, -1 squared was 1. So these values here, the 0, the 1, the 4, they're the outputs of our function. And the function itself is x squared. So hopefully that gives you a good overview of what a function is.